And now I'm live. Good evening, everybody. Um, as you guys know, in my previous video, was that beloved Pastor Stephen Darby Ministries, um, he passed away. He passed last Friday. So being the Friday after that, he will have been passed for he since a week ago. So Pastor Darby passed 1 week ago today. We don't really know why. From what was said from his family, is that he was at the Grace Retreat land that he owned, and while he was working at Grace Retreat, he fell unconscious. The ambulance that came and they um he died on all of those things happening. I don't know whether or not while he was on the arrival to the hospital or if he died at the hospital. Throughout those events, he passed away. Why? And we're trying to find out why, and we're trying to make sense of all of this and understand why would God do this, and many different things lined up. And he changed so many people's lives, and his messages just gave people hope. And you could say this man, prophet of our generation. You could even say Darby. He was a legend. Um, he did leave behind a beautiful legacy. I think 3 or 4 sons, and uh, number one, I want to say I am so of Stephen Darby, and I'm proud of his sons. And uh, there, there, there nothing. There really is no other words, the way I could put it. But with that being the case with us of his death and trying to understand this tragedy, I was talking with a friend of mine, and we say God does things for reasons that are unknown. Um, but there could be some underlying reasons where God allows certain things to happen. That there are other things that He needs to prepare us for, or certain circumstances would have happened, right? Had the way He allowed them to. Perfect segue into I think his name is Joe Darby. We need to call him Pastor Darby. Proud of him. I know on Sunday he took the mic, and I don't know if this was his first time preaching or not. It was the first time I ever saw him preach. And that is little that's a little mini Pastor Darby. Job. Wednesday night he went and taught the Bible study there, and he did an amazing job. Um, with that being the case, R.C. Sproul also died today, and a lot of people were trying to understand, well, Sproul have to pass away. Why are all these older pastors, in their 30s or 40s or 50s away? And so, if you guys watch my YouTube channel, I usually can course or have conversations with General. And General and I, we always have these type of conversations where we talk about how Hugh Ross and Frank Turek and Craig and David Paulson and all of the greats, all of the legends, all of the as a Christendom today, they're getting older. They're dying a lot sooner. And so what does that mean? That means that they're going to need people to take up the mantle. And so sooner or later, Hugh Ross will pass away, and Frank Turek and Gary Habermas and all, 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 all of the Christian legends, they're going to go when there's going to be a new generation of apologists and preachers and ministers. With that being said, that perspective, like I just said, Pastor Darby's son Joe, he is. I mean, he actually would make a very, and so it could be that um as much as it hurts and as much as we don't fully understand, it could be that God just Steve to his son could finally fill in his shoes and walk in his footsteps and be the pastor for that next generation. If Pastor Darby didn't pass away, or if he wasn't, if the Lord didn't have plans on to pass away any sooner, Pastor Darby he would have been pastoring that church for the next 20, 40 years until the day he died. It could be that as Pastor Darby is going and he's ministering and he's pastoring for 20 or 40 years, maybe his son would go on a different profession. His son would have probably been a plumber or an electrician or and working in IT or working in finances. Maybe he would have different career path. And maybe God is like, no, you didn't really have your mindset on preaching. You didn't really have your mindset on filling in for your father's footsteps. You really didn't have your mindset on leading a church. He even said himself the other day where God wants him to be in the midst of this tragedy, in the midst of us trying to understand why is all of this happening. The reason why it could be that God Pastor Darby away, as bad as it hurts all of us. God is using this so he can, number one, build all of us up, build up our faiths. Um, he's using this as a way to build up preachers and ministers and apologists generation. And to Pastor Darby's son Joe, I should call him Pastor Joe now. I think he would make a very good pastor, just like his dad. He doesn't need to be exactly like Pastor Steve, you know, exactly or anything like that. But I definitely do see a calling on his life. I think other people can see as well. And, you know, as we try and make sense of what's been going on and why did this happen, it could be one of the reasons why God, for Pastor Steve to pass away the way he did at the time and he did, because the time in which this all has happened is very, like I said, if Pastor Steve would have went to live on for 20, 30, 40 years, it could be that his son Joe might not mantle. Just like how General and I talk about this all the time. There's going to need to be of apologists, etc., to take the mantle and the pastors and the apologists and the great Christian leaders today. So I hope that in the midst of maybe this can give us, some peace and some answers and try and help us understand why. All want to know why. This isn't a definitive answer. This isn't me saying this is exactly why it happened the way it happened. Hypothetical, and a very good hypothetical to go off of, especially considering a couple of days ago that wherever we're at right now, where God wants us. With that being said, I think that's pretty much all I even have to say. And I would also like us to remember that Pastor Steve Darby was not just a pastor. Stephen Darby wasn't just some guy who when talk about Hebrew Israelite theology and he believed black people were the Israelites. He wasn't just those two things. He wasn't a pastor and just somebody who believed in the Israelite doctrine. Stephen Darby, first and foremost, Stephen Darby was a father. He was a father. And secondly, husband. He was a pastor last, father first. And I'm saying that because I'm looking at a lot of tributes and legacy, and I think we should not leave that out. Himself wouldn't leave that out about himself. The first, and he was a pastor last. And so, as we reflect on his legacy and we reflect on his life and his teachings and his messages, people can look at this video and they can have some slight peace that even in the midst of all of this going on, control. God isn't surprised. God isn't shocked by anything. God is the one calling all the shots. No, we can have peace that whatever God does, as Pastor Steve said in his last sermon, master strategies. And so all we can do is just trust him and believe that everything is going to be okay. Until next time, guys, good luck and good night. If you liked what I had to say in this video, check out my other videos. Check out a lot of the different opinions on. And be sure to subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Click the bell icon to the right for whenever I have a new video. And if you really like this video on your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., hopefully this video can give people peace. Good luck.